Hello. I wanted to quickly go over the position meanings on the cross, the Celtic cross, but I also wanted what I'm really doing here is showing you how a card can shift as far as meaning goes, depending on what position it's laid into. Each one of these positions on a card spread is an aspect of your question. So the card's meaning can shift depending on where it's laid. And so we're going to take one of the cards here. I'm going to put it through all the meanings, all the positions, and show you how it can change. First, I'll go over the position meanings, the way I do it, the way I do the cross. We have done it for years. And this is in my books, too. If you see it, if you see one of my books, you'll see it in there. So the number 1 and 2 positions on the cross, quickly I'm going to go over this. Number 1 and 2 positions on a cross is the question itself. We're looking at the question itself here. That's why there's 2 cards there. It's an important part of the spread. It allows us to look at the question. Maybe we could rephrase the question, reword it, look into it a little deeper than we were before, really give it some thought. There's 2 cards that represent that aspect of the reading, and that's why there's 2 positions there. It's kind of important to look at. The number 3 position is what the client is currently going through at this time, the efforts they're making to achieve the number 4 position. The number 4 position is a short-term objective of some type, a focus. It might be the immediate objective right now, the immediate focus of what they're trying to do. So they're going through number 3 to achieve number 4. Number 5 position is an asset the client has, something they have going for them, that they can use, something that we can keep in mind as we try to move forward on this objective that we're trying to accomplish. And number 6 position is the opportunity that's coming in the near future that they have to keep an eye out for. This is something that will help them accomplish what they're looking to do. Then we go into the pillar, 7 through 10. The 7 position, position 7 is the way the client perceives their own question. Lots of times somebody's seeing things differently than what it really is. This allows us to align numbers 1 and 2 position with number 7, and we see if the card in number 7 conflicts with numbers 1 and 2, it allows us to question the client's perception of their own question. Maybe they're seeing something a little wrong here. We could check that with them. Number 8 position is the timing of the issue. Is it time to act now before opportunities are lost, or do we wait for a more opportune time in the future to move on this situation? So the timing of the issue can be very critical. The number 9 position is the purpose of this whole thing, where numbers 3 and 4 currently going through to achieve number 4, number 3 currently going through to achieve number 4. Number 9 is the purpose, so it's the big picture of what you're trying to accomplish, why you're going through this situation, why you're trying to do the things you're doing. What's the purpose of it? And number 9 is a big picture, is a big look at it, looking at it in the grand scheme of things. Why do you want to do this? And number 10 is a wrap-up. It's closing comments on the reading, and maybe some fine points, some fine details that we could add with what we're seeing here. Maybe something that you'll see in the number 6 position, an opportunity, so something might be in the number 10 might show some more detail about that. So if number 10 is a negative card, it's something we have to watch for. If it's a positive card, it's something where we could look at it and say, well, if we go through the things we're seeing here that we have to do, when to act, when not to act, take a look at our situation with all these positions of the reading. If we do things the way it looks like we have to do them here, or we should do them, we should come out okay. So it's really just a wrap-up position. Now I'd like to go in there and show you how a card can change So we're going to use the Fool card here. Everybody's sort of familiar with the Fool card. It's one of the first cards you learn. And you can see here from my map out description of definition of what the card means. It can drift. These cards can drift into all sorts of meaning. I like to think of the Fool as a new beginning, a carefree attitude, and not looking at things with any type of consequence, not really thinking things clearly, or thinking things out clearly, just sort of going with the flow here. Carefree. So if the Fool card was in a number 1 or 2 position, we could sit there and say, well, this is probably a very new situation for you that you're looking into, something you don't know a lot about. You could also say that you're moving into something that doesn't really seem to have an effect on other people. It's pretty much just your own thing, not really affecting anybody else. It's wide open, where there's a lot of options here on things that can be done, because it just seems to be a very wide open place for that card. It's right in the question. Probably going into something you don't know much about yet, but feel very good about moving forward with. Number 3 position. If it's in a number 3 position, what they're currently going through, you could look at the Fool card and say, well, the Fool card is, this person's going through things without giving it a lot of careful thought, maybe acting before they really think about what they're doing. Here they should maybe take a look at their actions, maybe choose their words a little bit more careful, their actions a little bit more careful. Don't jump into conclusions. Don't jump to conclusions right away on things. Slow things down a little bit. Think before you act. The number 4 position is what they're trying to accomplish. If it's in the 4 position, they might not really know what they want. They just know they want to get out of what they're at. They don't really know where they're going. They just want out of the situation they're in. That could be an example. That could be a situation. That might be a good meaning for what the Fool card means in number 4. Again, these meanings would depend on the reading itself and what other cards are in the spread. But I'm just showing you how a card can change from one position to another. If the Fool card was in a number 5 position, that's an asset the client has going for him. We all have strong points. And here the Fool in a number 5 position as an asset could be seen as, this is all up to you. You're not really dependent on anybody else to help you with this situation. The decisions are yours. You might not know a lot about what you're doing, but I don't see you really affecting anybody else if you move forward on this. It's not going to, it's just up to you, and it's not going to bother anybody else. There's no real consequence if you do move forward on this. There's nothing to lose here. And you seem to be trusting in what you're, you seem to believe in what you're trying to do here. Carefree. No limits. The Fool in the number 6 position is an opportunity coming. Number 6 is opportunity. So the Fool in the number 6 position could be seen as carefree actions, a lot of room for movement, freedom, new starts, new beginnings, new situations for you. Exciting situation, not really knowing where you're going, but it all looks good, and it seems to be very carefree, with no real obligations or worries about commitments of any kind. So a lot of room to move here. In the number 7 position, I see the Fool card as the client not really knowing a lot about their question. They're curious about it, but they don't really know much about it. It's a new beginning for them. But it seems like they believe in this situation, whatever it happens to be. They want to move forward with it, but they just don't know a lot about it. So it's a lot of trust here, a lot of, maybe they're naive about it, but that's okay. Maybe it's a good thing. They're kind of new at this. The number 8 position is the timing. And the Fool card in the timing position looks like you don't need to overthink things here to take action. You just go ahead and go with it. Even if you don't have all the answers right now, don't try to overthink it. Just go ahead and go with it. Just be natural with it. Do what feels right. And if it feels good, go ahead and go with it. Go ahead and go with it. Timing to take action, I would say the Fool in action in the 8th position is go ahead. The time is good to take action. It's not either that or it's not going to make any difference if you wait or if you take action now. It doesn't make any difference. There's not really too much restriction here as far as your timing goes. It's pretty open. It's very loose. The number 9 position, I see this as the purpose of this whole question. The number 9 position is where number 3 and 4 are what you're currently going through to achieve the number 4 position. The number 9 position is the whole purpose of it, the big picture of things. And I see this as the big picture. And so if you saw the Fool card in the number 9 position, you might look at it and say, well, I'm looking to get rid of a lot of responsibility. I might feel overburdened here. I want to lighten my load. I want to simplify my life. I want more carefree lifestyle. At least that's how it looks for this particular question, whatever that happens to be at the time. For that particular issue, I want it to be a little bit less restricted, less pressure. And the number 10 position, the wrap-up, the Fool card here is, I would say there you can look at it as just trust with it. Doesn't seem to be any real threats or worries about knowing exactly what you're doing at this time. Just go with what feels right. Go with the flow. Go with what you feel. It looks like a lot of opportunities coming your way with this, that maybe we don't know exactly what those are at this point. There'll probably be more than one. Just a lot of possibilities. But I see it being a very carefree, a lot of movement without any restriction. So that's how I think you could see the Fool card here. In each position, you can see how it can change. I like to think of a card spread. A card reading is like a game of chess. That's an analogy I might be stretching it there, but I like to use it anyway. A game of chess has a chess board, and it has pieces on that board. And they're both very important. And a card reading has a card spread, and the cards are placed into positions on that spread. And each time you do a card spread, those cards mean different things. They're placed in different ways on different parts of the spread, and they act differently. They're interpreted differently, depending on the question and the person that's sitting across from you. Just like pieces of a chess set on that board will act differently and be used and moved differently for each game that's played with them. So it's kind of an analogy. I sort of like to think of a card reading that way. Anyway, I hope you like this, and there'll be more to come.